We always debate how much good items we should put away in storage. That time is not now. Now, more than ever, we need to pull together. Therefore, I'm leaving you with the tasks you'd rather not deal with, like stocking up on supplies. Consequently, we still do this on occasion, but with an eye towards stockpiling for the future. You should give it considerable thought, as reclaiming and stowing these items can result in long-term cost savings. The Food and Drug Administration, summarized. The organization in question is widely regarded as corrupt, relying on falsehoods and deceit to support its lobbying efforts. The reasons behind their actions are too numerous to delve into here. Consequently, they promote certain products, urging individuals to consume them despite potential risks. The message conveyed is often along the lines of, "This may be harmful to your health, but it tastes good." However, it is essential for individuals to exercise caution in their preparation and ensure they maintain overall healthy practices. In the following discussion, the focus will be on a specific subset of a website known as the Environmental Working Group EWG. It is worth mentioning that the people involved with this organization are highly regarded. Additionally, before proceeding to explore the details of who we are, readers are granted another opportunity to familiarize themselves with the content. The mission of the EWG is simple yet significant: to provide cutting-edge research that empowers individuals to make informed decisions regarding their health and create a safe and risk-free environment. This goal is undeniably commendable. Within one of their articles, the EWG compiles a list known as the Dirty Dozen, which identifies 12 foods that are particularly high in toxins and should be avoided. It is possible that not all readers are aware of these items. In the subsequent discussion, we will delve into each of these foods, providing further details. It is important to bear this information in mind. Without further ado, here are the first items on the list: cured meats containing nitrates and nitrites as preservatives. Research has linked these substances to various cancers, including brain, thyroid, esophageal, and gastric cancers. Avoid using this one anywhere, especially on the packaging and labeling of your goods. However, there are certain establishments that are helpful and astute in this respect, so long as you know which nitrates they employ and where they get their nitrites. And celery is one of those things. It is now widely accepted that nitrates cause cancer. This is the case whether or not you count celery powder as an ingredient. They're the same thing. Don't fall for the simple, attractive nitrate form that serves as a final equivalent to the active component, as you'll see. Potassium bromate, a human carcinogen, is added to bagged baking flour. If you're the one who usually does the baking, you should double-check the flour to make sure it isn't an accidental ingredient. Cookies, pastries, and even certain tortillas contain the preservative propylparaben, which has been linked to negative effects on development and reproduction. And, if you'll excuse me, I need a moment to talk to you about something else, because we've been talking about compounds unrelated to our main topic that have been shown to cause cancer in humans, and there are hundreds of versions of this video. It's amazing to consider how we simultaneously sense and experience a sharp slowdown in population growth rates. You may discover BHT in grain goods and other meals in addition to smoked foods. Together, these constitute a potent carcinogenic pair. The subject of preserved meats is also discussed. By the way, pepperoni is a must-have on every pizza, and you may use whatever kind of pepperoni you choose, even pepperoni produced from pig or cattle, and be assured that there are plenty of organic alternatives available to you if you ever run out. Pop-Tarts and other foods containing TBHQ are bad for your immune system. There may be a trend with processed foods, and we need to figure out whether that's the case. Foods are the absolute worst. It's encouraging to learn that titanium dioxide, a common food coloring, may harm DNA. Fruity and zesty soda flavors are preserved with brominated vegetable oil, or BVO, which also has neurological consequences. Per and polyfluoroalkyl substances (PFAS) are compounds that migrate from product packaging into the food itself. They are persistent chemicals that are linked to food. It can cause cancer, weakens the immune system, interferes with reproduction, etc. Really, this matters a great deal. Synthetic food dyes are responsible for these colors, and they have been connected to behavioral issues in today's youth. By the way, this is a significant one. Assuming there are many children who have been involved in martial arts, parents may frequently say something like, "Their kids are losing their minds. Hurry, let's enroll them in martial arts training." As teachers, they need to be prepared for these extremely challenging situations. The overly energetic kids are about to arrive. In short, they should invite everyone in with drinks in hand so that they can get in the mood for the performance, roll out the mat, and begin the session. This way, the children can tell their parents, "See, you need to maintain your focus, but guess what? The will of the people always prevails." In less than a minute, a conversation about sugar substitutes will ensue. This is acceptable to the speaker, though it does complicate efforts to maintain a healthy weight. What? Mercury, lead, cadmium, and arsenic are just a few examples of the heavy metals found in everyday items, all of which pose serious health risks due to their presence. Additionally, it is stated that contamination can enter food chains through polluted land and water. Indeed, this occurrence in foods is rare. It is definitely a positive development. If there are more than two individuals, one might not know much about them at all. Yet, now is the time for them to dive in and learn as much as possible. In particular, they should focus on the third-to-last sugar alcohols, as the rest of the discussion in this film revolves around that subject since, astonishingly, everyone has a fondness for sugar. The sample they tested turned out to be clearly counterfeit. As their burdens become heavier, their desire for something sweet also increases. Consequently, there is a rapid surge in the consumption of sugar substitutes. The adverse effects on health are both shocking and extreme. They have shared a link to the information for further reference. The government has implemented a program advocating for the removal of the Food and Drug Administration from the pharmaceutical sector. This argument is adapted from a paper originally published in the Cambridge University Journal, titled "How to Achieve Peaceful Endings in Life." For more than a century, the FDA has claimed to prioritize the protection of public health. However, in reality, it has been giving precedence to corporate profits over customer safety. This is a topic worth contemplating and studying, at least for the time being. The embrace of sugar substitutes serves as a glaring example of this deceitful practice. It is a remarkable piece of work. The same can be said for both natural and artificial sweeteners. If they haven't already, they should thoroughly investigate this matter. It's a closed case. Low-fat diets have been heavily promoted for decades. It is true that people in certain areas tend to be overweight due to their high-fat diets. In fact, the inverse is correct. A diet high in sugar causes weight gain and leads to increased body weight. If one is skeptical and seeks validation, a doctor is available to support this claim with great accuracy and depth. Contrary to common misconception, consuming fat does not directly result in obesity. It is the consumption of sugar that leads to weight gain in humans. However, recent events have influenced the FDA's stance on sugar production, primarily due to lobbying efforts and financial influences. Despite the FDA's focus and attempts to exploit the notion that fat is harmful, significant changes are unlikely to occur. Examples of products such as yogurt, milk, fat-free yogurt, and reduced saturated fat potato chips are often referenced, but it is important to use their proper names. The issue at hand is not solely the consumption of chips themselves. People can be selective when it comes to low-fat options they are willing to consume. Obesity is a consequence of individuals consuming sugary foods and the challenges that can arise from following low-fat diets, including the potential prevention of Alzheimer's disease. This discovery is intriguing, considering the essential role fats play in the body. Has the prevalence of Alzheimer's disease not significantly increased over the past years? Perhaps the promotion of low-fat diets has contributed to this phenomenon. Thus, while the FDA has maintained that sugar is acceptable, an increasing number of discerning individuals are highlighting the potential risks associated with artificial sweeteners. Let's delve into the subject and explore further. Those 5 artificial sugar alternatives are recommended by Dr. X, one of my go-to web guides. Therefore, he plans to give you healthy alternatives. Various alternative options exist. In case you need to look something up, I'll provide a link. The list of ingredients includes widely used artificial sweeteners such as aspartame equal, neotame, NutraSweet, and saccharin, sorbitol, and Splenda. Below, we'll discuss low-calorie sweeteners like xylitol and sucralose. The illustrative instances may go on forever. You name it, and it's undoubtedly reflected in some facet of the food. Then, let's have a look at them. Aspartame comes in a variety of brand names, including NutraSweet and Equal. More than 6,000 meals, 500 medicinal medications, etc., are available without a doctor's prescription. To that extent, it is intriguing. Common side effects include mental health issues including migraines, mania, and dizziness. Furthermore, there is a link to the brain, namely lesions and demyelination in the noggin. Neurodegeneration describes the process. To illustrate, today's society contains only unpleasant things. Then a glance is taken at the sugar content, and it becomes evident that their consumption is low, prompting the realization that opting for an apple instead would be a better choice. Surprisingly, this alternative can often be worse than consuming sweets themselves. Sucralose, commonly known as Splenda, occupies the second position on the list. Research conducted on both humans and animals has revealed a connection between sucralose and leukemia. Moreover, studies have measured the concentrations of glucose, insulin, and glucagon-like peptide 1 in the blood. This finding is intriguing because it highlights the importance of insulin control, particularly for individuals with diabetes. It is common for people to reach a point where they believe that consuming sugar substitutes like aspartame or sucralose will resolve their concerns. However, this is not the case, as it can lead to an insulin surge, at least in their experience. Contrary to their expectations, insulin levels increase to a degree comparable to consuming sugar, making it an impractical alternative. Things have taken an unfortunate turn. Lastly, there is a sugar substitute known as acesulfame K, or ACE for short. Its allure and perceived safety should not be given any attention. When consumed, chlorine is released into the system, resulting in various physical and mental health issues, as well as certain types of cancer. In addition to causing liver damage, acesulfame K has been linked to renal problems, visual impairments, and potentially even autism. The dissection of a human being is prohibited due to its purported impact on metabolism. By reading product labels diligently, one can discover that both acesulfame K and aspartame are listed together. In the 1970s, saccharin was a prominent sugar substitute. Despite the widespread knowledge about its risks, it continues to be used in various over-the-counter medications, cough syrup, children's chewable aspirin, and more, posing dangers such as cancer, nausea, tachycardia, heartburn, and gastrointestinal irritation. If xylitol is included, the count reaches 5. The topic to be discussed shortly revolves around this particular substance. It's worth noting that sugar alcohols like erythritol, maltitol, sorbitol, and xylitol are considered carbohydrates. It is advised to avoid contemplating their consumption when under the influence. There is no duplication of meaning in this cautionary statement. Furthermore, WebMD advises against using xylitol during pregnancy and while breastfeeding. However, there is a wealth of information available for individuals to explore on this subject. One of the most contentious debates surrounding artificial ingredients has come to the forefront: the use of sugar substitutes. Diarrhea is just one among several symptoms associated with their consumption, including constipation, heartburn, and cramps. There is little room for debate when it comes to these effects. They are undoubtedly linked to the use of sugar alternatives. Since these substitutes are often marketed as harmless for individuals with diabetes, claiming to have no impact on insulin levels or other bodily functions, further investigation is warranted. In the past, when sugar replacements first emerged, people had the impression that they could indulge in the candy aisle while opting for a small but selective range of sugar alcohols or perhaps a hybrid form instead of regular table sugar. However, if one overindulges in these substitutes and now feels guilty about it, binge-eating episodes may occur, similar to how some individuals experience severe bloating and discomfort in their stomachs. This seemed to be the primary concern at that time. However, a significant amount of new information has surfaced that challenges this notion, asserting that these substitutes may be far worse than previously believed. Additionally, the perspective of Dr. Axe's associate is taken into consideration. The question arises as to whether one should opt for real and healthy sugar substitutes. Before diving headfirst into this decision, a few important factors should be kept in mind. The concern about consuming genetically modified food was a major worry. Furthermore, the interaction of genetically modified organisms (GMOs) with each other has raised concerns. Once again, we see potential changes in key organs, including the digestive system, insulin resistance, and accelerated aging of the immune system. Internal edema and other issues become apparent. Considering the lack of sweetness in some sugar substitutes, it becomes necessary to examine the rest of the recipe for any other sweeteners, such as aspartame. Its consumption can potentially lead to anxiety, memory loss, pain, fatigue, and other symptoms. Moreover, the impact of gastrointestinal problems, which can leave one feeling bloated and uncomfortable throughout the day, is discussed in a pleasant conversation. Allergic reactions are mentioned as a possibility in point number 4, although this could apply to any meal. The fifth factor is associated with potential cardiac issues. With this information in mind, the decision is made to no longer discuss the article further. Researchers have discovered a correlation between the use of erythritol and an increased risk of cardiovascular disease among individuals who regularly engage in illicit drug use. It seems that the focus of their investigation aligns with the topic at hand. However, dual coverage experiments are not the primary focus of their attention. Instead, they are delving into and questioning the dietary habits of individuals with cardiovascular disease, and a noticeable trend has been observed: heart disease is prevalent among those who consume excessive amounts of erythritol. The individual's family consumes erythritol in small quantities on a regular basis, and they have come across some medical professionals who have made similar claims. They believe that all the negative news surrounding erythritol is based on a single, albeit small-scale, study, and they personally feel that the results have been exaggerated. The subject still appears to be open to discussion. The individual and their family occasionally enjoy indulging in sugary treats made with stevia or monk fruit. They also express skepticism about the potential issues with naturally occurring sugars, contrasting them with the multitude of man-made substances created in laboratories. Furthermore, they mention that monk fruit is considered genuine but is illegal in the UK, which raises questions about the reasons behind such a ban. It is speculated that the ban may specifically target individuals with excess weight. However, upon closer examination, connections between stevia and adverse health outcomes such as low birth weight and allergies have been observed. It is important to note, though, that negative reactions are possible with any stimulus. In the subsequent discussion, the individual promises to provide further details about these substances, which might lead to reconsideration of stockpiling them. They encourage readers to share their thoughts in the comments section, expressing a belief that many would agree with the notion that the FDA does not prioritize the well-being of individuals. They have access to significant funding from a diverse range of non-business sources, the government, and they appear to hold little regard for the well-being of individuals. In their opinion, it seems that they desire not only their own annihilation, but also that of others. This belief may sound somewhat exaggerated, but it is a conclusion they have reached after a cursory examination of the organization's published research on the matter, which indicates a worrisome trajectory. Given the circumstances, their plan is to gather and store as many supplies as possible, hoping for the best outcome. They emphasize the importance of stockpiling necessary items and making thorough preparations for potential challenges ahead. When asked about recommendations for grocery shopping, they consistently suggest whole foods, advocating for natural and unprocessed foods that can be prepared at home. Regardless of one's specific dietary preferences, they stress the importance of opting for natural ingredients, as the health risks associated with other options are considered significant. They express gratitude for the consideration of their perspective. As they conclude their statement, they mention that the video has come to an end.